just trust him, matter of factly, no matter what comes or goes.
True holiness. So I Googled the name and y'all popped up.
Hello there. Welcome to So Sweet Sundays. I'm Sweets.
I'm Rosie.
I'm Dexter.
I'm Cupcake.
And I'm me.
And today we are going to be talking about those closed doors. Doors that the Lord had closed hard in your face and you thought maybe it was not, it wasn't God. You thought it wasn't God and you were wondering why it wouldn't go through or why it didn't happen or, you know, why is this occurring? But it was actually God protecting you. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to shuffle that thing up. And we are going to go with
Doors that have been closed. You know, I think you know, of course, professionally, there were doors that were closed for me, like losing my job.
Yeah.
But I think at that time, like I was saved, so I was kind of I'm like, they can't do nothing with me anyway because I don't belong to them. So I was kind of like, no, really. I was like, oh well. You know, so I didn't really feel like it then. I would say. So yeah, professionally, like there was like certain companies that I thought I wanted to get into, I couldn't get into them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I filled out 377 applications, I've interviewed 57 times, and I cannot, you know, but now like being where I'm at now, I see why, you know, the ability to, you know, work from home and, you know, just, you know, be comfortable and do what I have to do. And nobody's like, oh, my back. And like, you know, I really, as far as, you know, employment goes, I've been very blessed. I would say personally, definitely you think of the things that did not work out. And you're just like, woo, because man, you know, it's like that meme says, you know, God was looking out for me when I wasn't even talking to him. So it's like, you know, you think of those things where you were just out there in the world blind, like, you know, dating people and like really out in the club, like all these things that God like held back that he did not allow to happen to you, you know, danger seen, dangers unseen, all of those things. So it's like, I definitely see it from both aspects of life.
So did you feel like, dang, it's never my turn when the doors were closed in front of your face?
No, I don't think. Well, I will probably like relationally, yes, because you know you see other people like growing and flourishing, and especially like in the unsaved eye, you know, it's appealing. You know, you want to, you want those things, you want that companionship, but you know, reality is that they're not really happy anyway. So it's like, you know, it's like we always talk about, like you shouldn't look at other people's stuff and be like, oh, I want that, because you don't know the cost. So you know, it's that, but no, I think for work, not really like that, because I was already like in my bag at that point, so I didn't. But relationally, yeah, you know, especially like getting older, you grow and you see people like having kids, because like I was like the last of my friends to have kids, you know, so it's like you see people having kids, you see people moving and growing and doing all these things, and you're like, I guess it's just gonna be me. Like I had kind of grown into that space, like, well, that's fine, you know. But you know, definitely you do have, you know, those moments where you're like, what about me, Lord? I see what you're doing for others. What about me?
But can you say now, looking back, to say, man, he worked that thing out for me?
Absolutely. I think there really is no place I'd rather be. No other place I'd rather be. You know, because I know that God placed me here. You know, I know that this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, surely I know that. So it's like, man, like I think about the things that didn't work out. You know what I mean? Like the things where it was like, and at that moment, it's like, what is going on? Like, why isn't this working out? But now, you know, you look at it now, you're like I literally was thinking about that the other day. Like, man, like I see why that didn't work out. I see why that fell through, because God was like, no. Like even for a minute, I like, you know, as an adult, there was quite a long time where I just wasn't even like dating. And it was just like, God was like, no, sit here, wait. And you know, like in my mind, I didn't think that. Like it just was like, well, whatever. Like everybody dating, I'm just at the house watching Love and Hip Hop. You know, whatever, you know, and you don't really think about it like that. You know, that's what the devil does. Oh, you're lonely, you're this. And I never really had those like loneliness issues like that. But, you know, you definitely get in that space where it's like, well, dang, everybody else is doing this and that. And, but like now, looking back now, I know that God had like put me on the shelf. Like, nah, girl, sit down.
So what do you do while you wait?
You have to work while you wait.
Okay.
You
what
know,
do you mean by working?
it's like you know, faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
So it's like as you're believing God for whatever it is that you're believing Him for, you have to put in the work. You can't ask God to have a winery and you don't know how to work one.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't be like, oh, I know how to do these grapes, and you don't. You know, so it's like the wait is really, I've learned that it's preparation.
Yeah.
You know, you learn so much in the wait if you allow God to do what He needs to do. You know, not that waiting is not easy, because in the wait there's like refining and there's all types of things that happen, and you really have to like trust God and roll with whatever it is that He wants you to do. But you can't just lay down and die there. You know, you have to do the work, because otherwise it's like, you know, and I'm one of those people that I look at myself like, okay, why am I still here? Why am I still in this space, this holding pattern? What's going on? What do you need from me, Lord, so that we can move on? Because I do not want to stay here, and I refuse to die here. So I won't let you go until you bless me. So no, what's going on? So
okay, I'm sorry. Right now in my mind, I'm having a moment with even these two, thinking about how you guys have. God, the Lord has allowed some doors to be shut for you, and now I'm thinking about it. It's like I'm seeing one of those thick, heavy doors, and the Lord is beginning to close it, and the thing is coming, or the person is coming, and you get behind the door and start helping God. They're gaming on it. Especially you. So while you're talking, I'm hearing you, but that just was playing in my mind, and I'm just in my spirit right now.
Hurry up quick, we gotta go.
Right, and then as you assist the Lord to help, even though He don't need your help, you just hear that poof, and then the dust come and just blow up in the devil's face, and they got all that dust on them looking at them toilet. Oh my God, that's so hilarious.
I just see like little cupcake, like
Right.
the big door. Right, like a huge door. Like,
and you really get all these big old flat platforms. Two little pumpkins. Hurry, Dad, hurry. So get that thing to cupcakes, since we're glad we're talking about that. What is your closed door?
I would definitely say relationships, situationships, them doors being closed. Ooh, what a blessing.
Yes.
What a blessing. Talk about winning. What? Oh, let's talk about winning. Yes. Talk about the literally realizing that was none of your time. Like you wasted your time for real. Like you wasted it. Like for what? It was I wasted myself. Like I wasted myself. But ultimately though, it's a learning experience. Like I learned what I needed to learn, and in that time, like it took me a while to get here though. Because there's also that sad point to it, like why isn't it working? Like why isn't it not? But today, I said 10 toes down. Thank you, Lord.
Right.
Thank you for shutting it down.
Right.
Thank you for being Let's get this.
Right.
I feel like all my friends were like getting married early. They were having kids early. They were doing all of these, and everybody was in like long relationships. So like for me, it was kind of like, oh, why not? So like you meet somebody and you think, and then like no, and I over romanticize things a lot. So it's kind of like, ooh, are you really playing yourself at this point? Because like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't working out. It hasn't worked out the few times prior. Right. So what are you doing? It's like you didn't learn the first 3 times.
Right.
So you're just like, I'm serious. You didn't learn the first 3 times. Like we going through the same thing over and over again, like the same dude, just you know what?
She's like, Jonathan.
Same dude, different shades, bro, different body types. It's literally like the same thing. Like there's no growth there.
Same spirit.
Yeah, literally the same. How crazy that I was chasing the same spirit, and there was nothing in the spirit that I needed.
Right. You know, right now it's that. What was that little that girl? I want to love you and hug you.
Elvira.
It's like it's a stunt, dude.
Literally.
That's gross.
You smell stinking. Let it go.
Literally, like you need nothing that it offers you, but the blessing, like once you realize it, it's like, and then you see things, you hear things. It's kind of like, no, like this is what you needed. You needed to go through this to learn that that's not what you needed.
Yeah.
So it's okay to be alone, and so you're not even alone.
Right.
You know, it's okay to learn yourself, learn what you're supposed to be, learn who you are supposed to be as a wife, learn yourself, get ready for the promise that I have for you.
Yeah.
So like that's like where I'm at. Like you gotta get it together, and you have to learn. Like Rosalind said, you have to work through it, regardless of what it is. And sometimes it's annoying, you know, working and waiting. Sometimes it's annoying. Sometimes you feel like fighting the air. You can't fight nothing, but you feel like it sometimes.
Not a lot.
Right. So when you're in the air, how you know if you're gonna win?
You're not gonna win because you're not supposed to be fighting the air.
I'm like, who's hitting the win?
The win is the win. You're
The win.
the win is good enough because you're tiring yourself out, not hitting nothing. Like what is the point?
Right.
What is
That
the
was my
point?
point exactly.
What is the point? So it's like it's a win.
Right.
And it's a win. And again, like it is the winning season for all of us because us waiting is winning.
Yeah. Better say something. Yeah.
It is winning.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't have to deal with all the stuff that other people deal with because they don't know what the promise is or know what their promise is or what God has for them because they don't know.
Yeah.
So to be at that point in our journey that we know is a blessing within itself.
So would it be that it's also because you know the assignment? Because if you don't know the assignment, how can I tackle it or do my homework? As grandson say, how can I do my homework if I don't know what my assignment is?
You have to know what your assignment is. That's like a level that you need to get close to God to know. So He can tell you what your assignment is so you can get in the purpose of what He has for you.
Yeah. Because otherwise, it's just you doing you.
Yeah. And doing you is trash. It is straight trash. There is nothing that you're doing that you think is right and God isn't. It's trash. T-rash. T-rash.
Now you see why we call her mother. And so like now, do you ever think you just hit a jig and you're Shondo like, hey, glory.
I'd be like, thank God I dodged a bullet.
Yes.
Cause like, bruh, the drama, the heartache, the anger, me, I probably stabbed somebody. I'm where I'm supposed to be. Right here.
Right.
Right here.
Right. So that was a good thing for you. In the beginning, you didn't think so,
No,
but
not at
now
all.
you realize
I realized
He was working
everything.
that thing for you.
And it's like, it's a heartache that I can help people through.
Yeah.
I went through it, now I can help somebody else get through it. Because a breakup isn't the end all be all.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And I think that's where a lot of people drown.
Yeah.
They feel like that's it, but like that no is a blessing. That's
Yeah.
a closed door is an open door as well.
You better come
You
and
know
say
what I mean?
something, mother.
It's dope though, because like that no is good for you. Why do you keep going back to a closed door? You're gonna get the same thing. Like a dog will return to its vomit.
Yeah.
You know, it's literally
Mm-hmm.
it's literally the same thing. So
Yeah.
it's like, you got to get out of that. Once you learn you can get out of it, that's freedom.
Yes. When did you realize that closed door was for you?
Ooh, I think it took me a little bit. I think
What's
after
a little bit?
Ooh, like a year? I was in that thing for a long. Don't do a year, y'all. Learn from me. I think I was in that thing for like a year.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's disgusting. Don't do that. No. Nobody is worth that much energy, that sadness to put you through to like not want to be on this earth. Because I was sad. I was like really going through.
Yeah.
So like, nah, like that ain't worth it. Nobody is worth that.
Yeah. So now you see, like, man, Lord, you was really working that thing out for me. All I had to do was kind of just pivot and look at the perspective that what he was doing that was really for you, and not that he didn't want to give you, but he wanted to give you something greater than what you were already dealing with.
Absolutely, and the greater is better than to go through this detrimental stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's honestly, it's so crazy. And to be in that space for so long, it's like really gross. It's kind of like, how did I let the devil play in my mind for so long?
Yeah.
Like, where was your spot? Where can you be happy at?
Yeah.
Why do you have to wallow in your self-pity because of this? No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The no is the blessing.
Yeah.
Like, forget it. Oh, boy gonna continue to do what he gonna do.
Yeah.
But what about you and your peace and
Yeah.
your health, your mental health, the
Yes.
peace from God that you need?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what you need,
Yeah.
hands down.
Okay. I love it. I love it. So, is there like any thing that, or any advice that you can give somebody that may stumble on our video about like waiting? You know, when you're waiting, what are you doing? Like, are you winning or wasting while you're waiting?
You're winning, even if it feels like you're not. You are though,
Mhm.
because you're staying in His purpose and not in your own.
Mhm.
It doesn't go off the track because you kilter if you feel like you're going to do it. You need to stay in His will and work and learn yourself and learn Him.
Mhm.
Build a strong relationship with God
Yeah.
before you can hop into anything else.
Yeah.
You still have to be 100% yourself
Yeah.
before you hop into anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can only find that in the Lord. You can't find that within yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So your advice would be kind of what Rosie said.
Yeah,
Work while you wait.
absolutely.
Work while you wait.
And trust that the promise is the promise.
Yeah.
And push through even the things that are irritating or angry. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, just push through it. It's not about you.
Yeah. Because you could be angry and sin not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Right.
I love it. All right. Pass that thing to Baxter.
Oh, no.
Becky L? Come on, Becky L.
Yeah, that's right. We started about country.
That's where we from, though.
Right.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So, what are you thankful for in them closed doors? What are your closed doors? And you don't have to get too deep in it,
Yeah.
you know,
No, yeah.
instead of calling a spade a spade.
Don't want to name drop or nothing.
Right.
No, but I always think about closed doors as like protection. Especially, it's not always in the moment because I'm still getting over it. I think sometimes, a lot of times, I'm like, oh, okay, and I can adapt to the closed doors. But sometimes I think I'm still learning in it and saying like, oh, this is for my protection.
Yes.
Like what in it is actually saving me from something along the way.
Yeah.
Or even to make things obviously work for our good, for my good.
Yeah.
And so for me, like I think about, I can obviously relate to like relationship closed doors, definitely, and even what else? Like, I think about how. Oh, sorry, I always forget what I'm gonna say. But I think about how like it's so easy to get worked up in the moment when things don't go our way, or like we can get worried easily, or at least for me. And I think about even just little things like even just like trusting God in the closed doors, or even in the moments where we have to wait on things, especially like I think about like I used to have such bad road rage. I'll be in the car, I'll be like, dang, like what are we like, why can't, like I need to get to work, I'm late, like all this stuff, and it's like what if like, but I'm late, but what if God's like prolonging my ride, because I'm gonna get like, I could have got in a car accident, I could have got pulled over, I could have this or that. Just different things like that I think about, even not just necessarily in a closed door, but even just like in delays, where different things could be considered a closed door as well. And
like a holding pattern.
Right, exactly like you talked about, like, Lord, what am I doing that's holding this up? Or is it just for your protection? And like you said, I need to sit and wait.
So that's a good perspective to have, because then it keeps you from being frustrated, overwhelmed. How people always talk about anxiety, all that kind of stuff. to me, it's just really just a spirit,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
that comes over you or comes out of you in
Yeah.
that time
Yeah.
that you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with. And so in that aspect, when you're waiting,
Mhm.
what are you doing while you're waiting?
Man, so when I'm waiting, honestly, a lot of times I need to pray because, or else, so like I will get anxiety, or like if I'm like not meditating on it, but if I'm focusing on that, on anything but God, then I am like feeling like anxiety or different things that, and then basically making myself opened up to picking up things along the way.
Yeah.
But basically, so I make sure to keep my mind stayed on Him. And honestly, just talking to Him more, and then honestly trusting Him. And I always have to remind myself sometimes to have to talk to me, but it's like I said before, like He's always like, why haven't I kept you? And it's like really that reminder of maybe it's not right now, or I have something better waiting for you.
Yes.
I think that's a big thing that I've learned is like, and then God has really always like, especially when I pray to Him, when I come to Him with desires or anything, if it's a need or just anything, He's always granted it. Like He always comes through.
Yeah.
And like Cupcake said, it's like living without God is you're not living.
Yeah.
And it's like you're trying to do all these things on your own, and you're balancing, and you're like trying to shape shift. You are shape shifting, and it's like you ain't no. And it's like it's really like to wait on God is a different type of wait.
Yes.
It's something that really, because you know the end result. As long as you are being a good steward, as long as you are, like as I was saying, or thinking about when you're saying, basically like being faithful over little to be ruled over much. That's what I kept thinking about when you guys were talking earlier. Just showing Him like in the way, it's like whatever it is, Lord, if I'm here, if I'm high, if I'm low, well, I'm always low to you, but you know, like in the earth, basically wherever you're gonna take me, like I'm content, I'm good because I have you, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when did you discover, because that was powerful awareness, to say without God, you kind of like not even really existed. You know, when did you realize that?
When was that? I feel like really like when I started like living saved.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, and even more like recently. Like I started living saved like a year ago, but even more recently when I realized, and even actually writing my testimony, I was writing about it, and then I started realizing all the times that I like was drinking, and like all the times that all the time, even like I was writing about me being like 13 years old drinking, and I was caught up by the police because I was walking in the streets with friends, and then I was blacked out. Thankfully a friend stayed with me, but still a mess, and was in the back of a cop car. I threw up, embarrassing, whatever, threw up when they took me to the hospital. I don't remember anything, I was blacked out, and then I basically had alcohol poisoning, and then they had to pump my stomach and everything. And then the next morning, I didn't remember anything, but I woke up and I felt fine because obviously they gave me medicine, pumped my stomach. And then my best friend, and I think my mom told me actually. My best friend told me what happened, and my mom tells me what I was saying to the triage, to the nurses and stuff. And when they ask you like the question of have you ever thought about harming yourself or others? And I like had told them, and I was blacked out drunk, that I wanted to commit suicide, that I had thought about that and all these different things. And then it's so crazy to think about that. And I just remember, I don't know if I had told them that, but I remember like I had I had notes written, like I had so many notebooks written just of like different letters or different things, like just everything like that. And basically today actually I was like writing my testimony, and I think it was a big moment for me, just realizing when you can recant and remember all of the times that God has kept me or has kept you. For me.
I'm sitting here thinking about that was a huge closed door, because we would have lost if we never had Dexter. We would have lost. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have been blessed with the presence and the spirit. So not only was that closed door for you, but it was also for us. You know, it would be a loss without Dexter in our life, you know. So that God is an ultimate keeper. He's an ultimate waymaker, an ultimate provider. He sees so far in advance. He knew that you would be here this day, even being able to tell somebody that, to hold on, that it's not the end of things. that don't take that drink to where you black out and you might not wake up. Don't pop those pills. Don't slit your wrist. Don't, put a gun to your head and pull the trigger playing Russian roulette. That closed door right there, I'm shout right there on my own.
Yeah.
Thinking about that.
Yeah.
For you.
Right.
My God.
Definitely.
That's a huge door to close.
Yeah. And thinking about, definitely, I agree. And thinking about, like if I hadn't been caught up, who knows what would have happened to me, or even, and then that was a big reality check for me too, because then I realized, wow, like now this is out in the open.
Yeah.
Now everyone knows how I'm feeling, and then it's kind of like okay. And then from that point on, I struggled with it, but it wasn't as much.
Yeah.
It's kind of like okay. At least for me, it was.
Yeah.
It was basically when the moment comes to light, when we're able to bring all of our trauma to light, the darkness, when we're able to bring the sin, when we come to this walk and we're able to step out of that and actually say, nah, like, okay, this is who I am, this is what I'm struggling with, this is what's hurt me, and this is why I'm bound.
Yes.
That's so powerful. Like you said, it's such powerful awareness. Like, and then it changes your life. So, yes.
So what could you say to somebody that's watching now that struggles with suicidal thoughts or have allowed that spirit to take over them and kind of, run all through their mind and their hearts?
Well, like you said, basically I would say, if you decided to do that, we wouldn't be blessed with you in this moment or in future moments. And also, I would say that even if you know God, if you don't know God, God didn't bring you this far just to bring you this far. You are not the hurt that you have encountered. You are not the trauma that you have experienced. You are not what people have done to you, what people have said about you.
Come on now.
You really, this is such a moment in time that you have so much further to go. There are so many things that God is calling you to, whether you know it or not. If you're listening into this, then it's definitely for you. It's definitely for you. And I don't even, man, it's crazy how many times or how the enemy can really take us so far away from everyone, everything, into its own world, into its own, trying to make it an eternity. But it's really, like we said, you're only truly living once you're with Christ, once you're with God, and it's really a feeling that you'll never experience unless you're with God. And so my encouragement is to really just to know that there is light, and you could choose. You can really choose the light. And honestly, man, it's just so I hope that if anyone is listening, or I just hope that you feel encouraged just to even talk to God, and even just share your heart or whatever it is that is on your mind, and just know that you are enough. It doesn't mean no one else is gonna make you enough. You are already enough. You are. It's already there. It's already in you. It's already on you. God already did it when He formed you in your mother's womb, like He said. So it's really no debate. Just know that you, no argument, no debate. You're better here, and you're better on this path, and you're better having an eternity in heaven. At this point. So
So the scripture that I'm thinking of is these things shall pass. Hold on, these things shall pass. That again, like you said, we are not our trauma, our drama, our hurt, our childhood disappointment, what happened to us. Hold on. Change is on the way. I love it. Most definitely. I love it. That's some good stuff right there. That felt like hearty stew. I felt some carrots in there, good for the vision. Some meat in there, it's hearty for the stomach.
Vitamins.
Exactly. Celery. My God, that was some good stuff right there. Thank you. My God. Hold on. Change is on the way. That you are not what you went through. And I know Rosie say all the time, He didn't bring you this far to bring you this far. But I know she heard it from somebody else as well. But what the olds used to say, He didn't bring you this far to leave you.
That part.
That's what it's really about. He didn't bring you this far just to leave you, to abandon you, to stand you up. He he ain't one of those dates that you meet and you don't like them
Right.
and they don't look how you thought they would, like their picture showed them that they did. They
Right.
stole somebody's picture
Right.
from Instagram or dating app. Yeah, you done got catfish. He don't duck out in the bathroom on you. So he didn't leave you. He didn't take you this far to leave you.
Right.
You know, ain't no catfishing with God.
Yes.
I was laughing because I told the hubby last night he been catfishing me. Like I'm about to tell the people she catfishing me. Catfish your wife. Something we were talking about. We're silly anyway, so I was just messing with him. Like you was an ultimate catfisher, man.
Somebody call MC Tom.
Sorry, babe.
He said, I kid.
I kid. We were just joking, but I did tell him that like last week sometime we just started laughing.
Yes.
I kid. I couldn't say the rest of it. Inside joke between him and I. But yeah, I love it that, you know, God didn't bring you this far to leave you.
Yes.
He's not going to duck out on you.
Right.
He can always leave you with the check.
Right.
Just
Right.
waiting.
You're freaking out and he's there.
Then
You've been there the
the
whole
waiter come back, the waitress come back like, oh, are you waiting for him? Because he left about 30 minutes ago. Like, what?
So are you gonna come?
Right, you're like,
Right.
so, Mrs. Abrams,
Right.
hope you got your 2s and 3s together, right, exactly, but God didn't bring you this far to leave you, you know,
Yes.
He didn't bring us this far, He didn't just do what I do and be like, I kid. He's like, He sees it all the way through, you know, so that's what I love about God, is that He is a promise keeper. Man, He keeps them promises. God is not a man that He should lie. Not at all. Like, that is so amazing and so big. Especially in this world today where everybody be fronting and lying and faking and, you know.
Yeah.
He ain't got to do all of that. It is written, so it is done.
Man.
Man, it is written, so it is done. All He got to do is speak the word. He said, let it be light, and there is light.
Yes.
And God saw the light that it was good. So everything He do is good. It's all good. Mine in your braces. You good with God? But otherwise, is He good with you?
Right.
Real question right there.
Right.
Is He good with you?
Right.
Right. It's like, baby, please. You got
Baby,
to get back in His good graces.
Yes.
Is He good with you? I love it, Dexter. Man, my God. All this stuff y'all be putting on my plate. I'm like, yes. All the nourishment. It's not that thing to reach me. What are those closed doors?
Those closed doors, man. You guys have blessed me, Lord. I'm ready to just like, hey, cut.
Right.
All of it. But yeah, no, all of it, exactly. All of the closed doors, all that ended, that are beginnings when they're ending. Just relationships, friendships, like, whew, I would make a friend and a man before I want him to be my man.
Mm-hmm.
And just having those doors closed at the moment, it didn't feel too good. But I'm like, Lord, in those times that I felt like I would just waste away, like Cupcake was talking about, you filled me in those times.
Yeah.
When I felt empty, where I felt like like the resentment would try to come and fill me. The bitterness, the pride would come up and be like, never again will I allow it. The Lord's like, I'm going to allow what you allow. So then it taught me to take ownership of the times where the door was closed and I put my foot in and didn't want it to close, and I kept things out of season longer, you know? And it just taught me how to truly wait on the Lord and not waiting on Him, to be honest. And I just recently have came to this lesson for myself because it was a recent experience that I had, but it was a same person, different face, like she had talked about, and in any form, family, friends, man, and it was times where I felt like I did not want to do it again. And I wasn't like saying it outwardly like I don't want to be here, but in a sense it was like I'm no good for nothing. I'm not enough. It's no point for me to go into something and do the same thing over and over again, return to my vomit. It's like, you know, I should know better. And it's like, you don't, you know. I would do better if I did. And even in times I did know better, I wouldn't do better. So it really taught me there's nothing I can do outside of him. There's, I need him when it's going good, and I need him when it's going bad. I need to learn how to abound in a base and be who I am in him, regardless of who comes and goes. I heard someone say people who had to go, they couldn't stay, and the people who chose to stay just can't leave. And it taught me to stay with the people who will stay with me, and you know, cherish them and be present with them and be present with the Lord. He's always there regardless of what we are going through, but sometimes we don't acknowledge him, and those times unfortunately taught me to acknowledge him more than ever. And then it teaches me, even in the times where there's joy, acknowledge him in those times, acknowledge him in the good, even more than you would, because it was so many times where I wouldn't even say anything to anyone or even to God, because I'm like, I didn't say anything to you when I was choosing to do what I wanted to, and then the door closed. So why talk to you now that things are going left? And he's like, I can always make it go right. Like, it's just a U-turn. It's just repent. It's just, you know.
That's good. Sorry. I thought you, but also you. Like, you.
You turn from those things. And you take responsibility for yourself. Like she said, you see your worth. You see if a person did not want you, or they didn't want the God in you, then that's good. The no is really is going to lead you to my yes. You know? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I want your yes. I tried to make what was a maybe your yes, Lord. And I'm here where I'm just like, thank you, Lord. Like, I can get up and two-step right now, because I was so
right behind you. Go. Tell me if we pop it.
You said you belong there.
People be like, I'm down bad, you know, you don't have to call, all these things, and just like, that stuff is exhausting, to be wallowing in the it's done or the breakup or all these different things. Oh, it don't really serve you. Yes, we have feelings, but like my sister Rosie said, like, the feelings can be there, but it's in the passenger seat. It ain't driving you. If you're an emotional person, that means you never really can be who you are in the Lord fully, because you are led by your emotions. You can't be led by the Holy Spirit if you choose that, you know? So a lot of the times I'm spending waiting on the Lord to answer your question, like, how do I get back to the point where I'm waiting on you like the table, like the dinner, like where I'm enjoying and delighting in myself and you loving my presence coming to you. And prayer is not a thing where I don't feel like it. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I don't feel like it sometimes, but you feel me even when I just sit there and be like, you're my presence. So it's like, how dare you? And it's like, no, the Lord's like, come here. I'd rather you be here at some point than not at all. We've all been in connections where we were really present and a person wasn't. That is heartbreaking. So I just makes me think about how many times that we've been with the Lord and we are there in his presence and we are feeling empty, but he's like, I will fill you. That person or that job or opportunity will never fill you the way that I will. When you partner that thing up with him, then it gives you the fulfillment that you're searching for. I was always searching for fulfillment in things and people. And it really is just to a point where I'm like, oh no, I can find that in him and have that within myself. That way I'm the whole person that's coming to the opportunity, coming to the relationship, coming to the friendship, and feel like I can sustain it within him. There's times where you are in connections where you feel like you got to maintain them. We don't work to maintain our connections with each other because we know, one, it came from God. Who don't want something that come from God? If you don't want something that come from God, you just heard everybody speak, you're probably starting to go to the maybe side. He can work with a maybe. And I'm here giving him my maybes. Man, maybe I thought that was going to work out, Lord. I kept it out of season. You told me to let it go, but I didn't. You still love me? You love me? And he's like, yes, I do still love you. I loved you when you was in it. I love you when you're out. And I love you even more for the next. I love you even in the times where I give you my perfect will and it's not the permissible one. And you still need me. Because you're always going to need me. And I'm just like, man, those times taught me how I'm always going to need you. I'm going to need you, and I always need you. And I tell him that, like, I need you. I always need you. I don't know how to need you today because I don't really want to talk about it, but you can hear me talking with my nonverbal conversation with you. I'm feeling a mood. I'm feeling this way. I don't know how I'm feeling. All the things that we talk about all the time with each other, and sometimes we don't even talk about it. We just pray about it. So in the times where the breakups would happen and the friendships would end, I'm consulting with him without knowing. So when it's really the door shut, you don't have any choice but to say, oh, this thing slammed in my face. Now I'm met with having to literally pivot and turn around and say, okay, I'm with me. I've been with me in the relationship. I've been with me in the friendship, and now I'm walking away with me. Who is me? I'm leaving part of myself with that person. No, Lord, I need I need you to restore and
Yes.
redeem me. Because
Yeah.
part of my soul and part of my is
Yes.
with this person now.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, that's fine. You bless them.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, perspective shift.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Right.
now they know me because of you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well at
Right.
least so they got something, because
Right.
what they're not gonna get is my soul, like my pop talked
Yeah.
about. What they're not gonna get is, oh, they're tormenting my mind. No, I'm gonna
Right.
choose those thoughts.
Right.
So now I'm like, ooh, I'm choosing them.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with the pride spirit and saying this thing is getting weakened, and the deliverance is making sure that it's eradicated.
Yeah.
I won't go into the next connection dealing with those kind of spirits or
Yes.
attracting that.
Mhm.
Sometimes we want better, and people will choose like, oh, I want a better man than I had last time because that one. No, you're attracting familiar spirits.
Yes.
I had to
That's
take
right.
ownership in those times
Yeah.
where those things would end, and
Yeah.
and the closed door happened to be like, wow, I attracted the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I can accept that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's in me that has to let him refine me, like Rosie talked about, so
Yeah.
that I can be who I want to attract. We hear
Yeah.
those things all the time, but you ain't gonna do that without the Lord. It's like
Yeah.
impossible. Because he knows what it is that we truly desire.
Mhm.
The desire is so different than the things that we want or would want to have better or
Yeah.
want to have different,
Yes.
So for me, I don't know if that really answers the question, but the closed doors have truly been a blessing.
Yeah. So then did you feel kind of sad about it? And now you can rejoice when you say, woo, you saved my life.
He turned my mourning, the MOURING,
Yeah.
into dancing, child. It's of course you're gonna have feelings, but they literally pass.
Yeah.
Like when it says this too shall pass,
Right.
I can name the two. Oh, sadness. Oh yeah, no, that ain't me.
Yeah.
Because he giving me a new identity. I don't have
Yes.
to choose that.
Mhm.
I get other options.
Yeah.
People, I just need to open my options. That's what they do in connections. Yeah, my options have been open, but now they're open to who it needs to be open to, which is him.
Yeah.
Who's going to give me the true options I really desire. I don't want to be in an open connection with anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to have you choosing or having to choose between me and another person. You chose
Yeah.
when you did that. So he feels the same way.
Yeah.
Every time I see our human dynamics, I think about how even much more the Lord feels about us
Yeah.
and how he's a jealous God. And
Yeah.
he showed me that thing 2023.
Yeah.
So yes.
Right.
Okay.
I love it. So how do you handle or welcome the closed doors now?
Whew. Now, in the silence, in the times where I don't have much to say, people have free will. The Lord has given us choice, and when you surrender your life to Him, you give Him your free will, and He knows so much better to do with it. So with the closed doors, of course, I accept and I acknowledge it. And then I rejoice in the fact that my will, I lived it out already and it didn't equal what I desired.
Yeah.
So now I'm able to see, oh, the closed doors just equal you giving me the one that you open that no man can shut. That's what your word talks about. So I want to see what that looks like for me in every area of my life. So the closed doors now, I take them as, okay, that's not of you. That's not from you. Okay. And sometimes I question it like, man, is there something that I needed to refine or redeem or redo, whatever? And it's like, no, I got it. And I'm like, okay. When I see the door closed now,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you got it.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you. Because I prayed, I asked for
Right.
that, but you don't like when it's unfolding, Mish, and that's how he talks to
Right.
me. And I'm like, I only like when certain people tell me something, and only certain times. And it's like, that's not how obedience works. So I'm like, okay. So when you pray to me and you ask for it, it's like you don't have to be careful because we've always heard that from the olds, like you say. But it's like, no, be grateful.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful now when the door closes because I know that it was him that closed it, and I know that he's going to be the one to open it.
Yes, yes. I love it. For me, my closed door was me. God closed the door on me. Whew. That was crazy because I was a whole crazy mess. So violent, reckless, with my mouth and my temper. I most definitely would have been dead or in jail. Those was my options, So he closed the door on me. And I'm so glad that he closed the door on me to save my life, because I most definitely didn't ask to be saved. I wasn't, my story wasn't like, things were going bad and, You know, I was, you know, couldn't barely afford to buy cornbread or, you know, Wonder Bread or any kind of bread. You know, it was like my paper was up. You know, and so it wasn't those kind of things where it was a hardship. But he had to be like, get over here, like Mortal Kombat or something. Really snatch me by the collar because those are my options, dead or in jail, you know. And so I didn't ask for it. I didn't want it. I already knew that I had my position in my bed laid in hell. So that's where I was going, and I understood that. And I just didn't want no part of salvation. And he said, this girl don't even know what's good for her. Come on over here. Let me hug your neck. You know? Let me hug your neck for somebody strangle your neck. So let me bring you over here.
Right.
And so I was doing really well, you know, financially doing well, material gains, you know, no problem there. Young, and I just wasn't trying to go, you know. But he knew that he had to close the door on me because he had some things for me to do. He had assignments for me to be in position, in line for, and I just wasn't gonna do them not saved, you know. And so I thank God he slammed the door in my face. I really thank God that he did, because it really has done so many amazing things for me. Kept me, protected me, loved on me, showed me what real love was, because I had never really seen love before. You know, coming from not a good childhood, poverty, that it was just not good for me in my experience. And so my heart was hardened. So they had to show me how to love. Show me what that looked like. Being able to talk to me. Learn how to be submissive and obedient. How to be a servant. Which is like so dope in itself. To be a servant is just like so dope, you know. I never get tired of serving, you know. Even in church today, when they were talking about even when you're leading, you're still serving. You know, you're serving always, because Jesus was the ultimate servant, and we're just trying to be like him. So there are so many things in that closed door. Yay, glory, and my shondo. I'm just ready to just cut a jig right now, just thinking about the goodness of him, thinking about how he knows way in advance, how he knows how to snatch you out, how he has to put his hand on you and just hold you back in those holding patterns, how he has kept me from even suicide as a young person, you know, as a young child, you know, feeling like, man, that it can't be just this, you know, that I cannot just be going through all of this hardship and hurt and, you know, just pain and misery at such a young age, you know. And it wasn't really from the outside, but it was family things, you know, that really just tore me to shreds, you know. And so being able to be delivered from that, child, girl, child, you know, it's like, that was huge, to be delivered and set free. And then to know, to say, hold on, change is coming. I know what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Just to have that, like him being a protector, a provider, a way maker, a lover, a doctor, a judge, a jury, a friend, a mother to the motherless, a father to the fatherless. Man, he just be mathing the math. And I thank God he closed the door on me. Like, I'm like, even if thy right hand defend thee, cut it off. So even if my hand got stuck in that door, just plow it down, Lord. Give me a wooden plank or something. Something else. Just like, man, I thank him for that. Man, like, in the beginning, I was like, what is this? No! Don't save me, no! Like, you know, because my spirit was crying out. And my flesh was like, girl, no, we got things to do. No, honey. We did not come to church to just come to church. To be trying to give your life to God. It felt like, tomorrow, I'll give my life tomorrow. Tomorrow was not coming.
Right.
No time soon. You know, y'all know I said probably when I'm 80. Right. When I'm 80, Lord. You know? So I
wait for
thank
me.
God. Yeah. I was
Right.
like, no.
Wait on me.
Yeah. Right. That's how I felt. Like, ain't you a server? So you got to wait on me because I ain't ready for you, you know? And he's like, no, girl, get over here. You got to. Because I just was really not trying to come. Because I just didn't find anything appealing about being saved. But I knew I was crazy. And somebody needs to deal with all of this, you know? But I was just like, I don't know, maybe on affliction or something. I'm sick in the shut-in list or something. I don't know. Like, it just was not when I got saved. But I thank God that he did because, you know, he had such a great calling on my life, such an assignment. And he used all that fighting that I did in the streets for his kingdom now. So now I'm a warrior for him. And I'm like, I love a good challenge. Challenge. I love that. Like, what? You say what? You look at this what? You say, little baby? No. So he changed all of that for his good. He turned it around. You know, what the devil meant for my bad, God turned it for my good. You know. So I thank God for that because in the beginning I was like, no. He said, suffer what with who and why? I did that when I was 5 and 6 and 7 and 12 and 13. I didn't done my shit. I didn't clocked in now. I didn't clocked out. So you're gonna need to find somebody else to do it because it ain't gonna be me. But it was me, you know. So it was amazing now that I think about it, you know, because sometimes you got to sit down and think about it, you know, way from yonder. You on that thing and be like, man, he's so dope, so amazing. He kept me from this and from that and that booger bear and that cyclops and thinking about
Booger bear is
right.
hilarious. That stands the test of time.
That octopus. He kept me from brokenness. Taught me stewardship. Now I can go buy me a pair of socks or two. You know, it's like, man, because without him, it be feeling like your money just be like sinking sand, just following through your hands. You know, but he teach you all those things. So those closed doors are amazing. Like. So amazing. I'm like, just let it close. Don't fight it. Because a lot of times, do y'all not see like at times that you try to fight it or you see people that fight it, you be like, this old crazy baby. Oh, they don't know nothing. You know, it's like, just let them close it. Let them use it. Let them use it. Right. You know, it's like, let it close. Right. It's so beneficial on the other side.
Yes.
You know? All the struggling that you do mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually. My God, you can have all of that. That's for the youngs. The youngs, because I just can't see my life without him. You know, just like, man, and you might not have wanted to do it. Did you want to get saved?
I think I kind of just fell into it. I think that I just kind of fell into it. I think I probably, I mean, honestly, I would probably say no because so
But
much.
too,
is
you
happening.
thought you was saved though.
Yeah,
I didn't
so I
look
was
at it
like,
like that.
my bad. That's why I'm so confused with the answer. I was saved, sanctified,
Excuse me.
filled with the Holy Ghost.
I forgot baptized.
Yeah, I got baptized at 12, and then that was it. I had believed in my heart and confessed with my mouth. And it's like, yep, you're saved. But they still in church now.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that's all it takes.
Okay,
It's
so
like,
now, though, for real, knowing the real work, did you want to?
nah.
No?
Mm.
Why?
It's a lot of work. They don't tell you that. It's like, come on, let me tell you about a man named Jesus.
Yes.
And that's all they say.
Mm-hmm.
They don't say, and now the work.
Yeah.
But you know, living it now,
Mhm.
it has its perks. There is, it's definitely worth it. That doesn't mean that, you know, because I think it's important we're transparent about that. That doesn't mean like you're saved, you have no troubles.
Right,
We still have problems. We still have storms. We encounter the things that everybody encounters. It's just that we have a source to lean on and rely on in the midst of those things, and that's why we're able to process them and handle them the way that we are now, or that we do now. But at that time, I think when you started coming around, it kind of was like, you know, I think that we see how you live, we see how you handle people, we see how you navigate this thing, and it's like you trust God so much. It's like it's enticing. You know what I mean? It's like, dang, like I want to be like that. You know, like, but not like that because we don't know the cost. But you know what I mean? Yeah, you know. But it's like to see you pursue God. It's like, well, I mean, if she can pursue God, then I can pursue God.
Yeah.
But I mean, like we don't pursue it like you. You know, because you know it's extreme. It's like, man, it makes you want to know more about him. The way you talk about him, the way you adore God, the way that you know, present God, I think to us, it makes you want to know him.
Yeah.
So I mean, like when you started coming around for me, and I think because so much was happening, it was like, what else can I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so much was falling apart. It was like, I got to do something. You know, because I had been introduced to God, it wasn't as hard for me to be like, okay, let me get back in this. You know, because even in college, I had went to church.
Yeah.
You know, like I had like little encounters here and there with God. But yeah, like I think when you don't know, you just don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, now knowing, there's no going back.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like you were saying, you know, that there is things that we go through.
Yeah.
Like we're all in a shifty place right now.
Shifty.
Yeah, like I'm in my re-bag right now, so I'm about to have to re-up on some things.
Yes.
You know, that the devil is thinking he's gonna put his hands in or on or try to think he attaching or attacking, and that's all right. You can have that because I'm about to re-up on you.
Yes.
I'm about to level up on you. So
Right.
watch out, sucker, because it's going down.
Yeah.
And I still trust God through it all.
Yeah.
I still trust him through it all. And I'm not crying and I'm not sad and I'm not falling out. I'm like, no, the devil is alive. We're about to get this thing.
Yeah.
You know, get in that bag for real. Okay, Baxter, what about you?
Okay, what was it?
Did you want to get saved?
Honestly, I did want to be saved, but I think I also didn't know the cost and the work to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the same time though, I didn't want to live saved.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I did want to have the fulfillment of being saved because God fills a void of like a void that no one else can fill.
You want to shelf God.
Well,
So you want him when you want him and put him on the shelf when you don't want him to see it. Oh,
so
okay.
pre-save, that's definitely where I was at.
Yeah, not
Oh yeah, no.
No more.
Right. Which is like, I feel like a lot of, well, I can't speak for others, obviously, but I think that's like really common today. At least it's like people, like we talk about, people play church or play Christian, especially. That's a big name, Christian, this and that. But anyway, I can only speak for me. And I think, I really wanted the convenience of like dang, like, Lord, like, so I can come to you when I come to you, like Misha was talking about, like, I could just, okay, Lord, yeah, but no, I want to be able to, like, I didn't know that at the time, but it's like, being able to praise him and for the good, the bad, and all this stuff.
You want to drink him, you want to praise him for the Hennessy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But pre, no, it was like, I didn't really, like, what is it? It's like, I had, I always, sorry, no, I'm like, what the heck? It's like I knew right from wrong, and I knew all these things. I didn't know the full extent of living saved, but I was like, yeah, like, I'll get to it later. I think that was my problem, definitely my problem. Yeah. I thought my grace ran forever. Forever. And that's not true, because you have a measure of grace, right? And I didn't even know that until, like when the bottle's empty, like, for real. Like, we can't put in on it.
You can't re-up on this?
Right.
So
that is hilarious.
I honestly, I don't think I thought, because for me, I was like, nah, like, I still got time. I got time. Like, I'm young.
Right.
I'm
young. I still got fine on me.
No, sorry, y'all.
With my glasses on.
Right. Well, it's
I
funny.
can see all this
I always
stuff,
had
but I
glasses.
can't
No.
Said I ain't always had
Blind and blind and then blind.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so I didn't always want to live safe. I wanted to do what everybody else was doing. Cause it's funny because I was always seeking something that I wasn't getting from nobody else. And I think, like I said, like you were talking about, I was baptized, I grew up in the church, I was in church forever, into college I went to church, but it was still like, I still want to party, I still want to do what I want to do. Like I said, I'm young, I got time, I ain't got a man, like all this stuff, but it's like, but then like we talked about, it's like, like that's really not it. It's not it. So, I didn't want to, but once I realized that it's really life or death for me for that, then I was like, oh, I have to. And then also I think, well, when you were talking about seeing her, like, and meeting you, oh my god, you're right here. But meeting Godmother, definitely it was like, and even like to the inspiration of like to stop drinking and stuff, like we talked about Bobby Ice. He's like, you're not really saying though, but it's like, just seeing someone who, and then also having someone like you, like a mentor in your life, because like I said, I always wanted an encounter with God, and I didn't get that until I met you, and I didn't get someone this close in my life to mentor me or to speak life into me and to actually guide me and then be there when I don't even know what God's doing. I never knew what his purpose was, and I didn't know that until I met you. And it's just like, it was really like a big thing, and you really, like she said, you inspired me every single day. And like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. Like, this wouldn't be happening. So it's really like, I'm so thankful. I'm thankful.
Now I ain't pouring into me. I have on Good Baby Girls.
It's funny because
today,
I was like on Bloomies, we about to pour, but we just started doing it right now. But living saved, that's definitely not what I wanted to do, but I think, but definitely seeing you, and I was thinking about when you were speaking about how God closed the doors for you, and how the transformation is so real, like how he can really, your story shows how he can take anybody, any person, anyone, and really that you turn that transformation wholly, fully, like you said, is the extremists. It's like H down or we go
up or down.
And you are really that, like, and looking at it in that aspect, like you really embody that, like a woman of God who really is just living for him. And love you.
Shout out to my son, Bobby Dollar, Ice on the ones and twos.
Bobby Dollars.
We will continue.
So mad. Huh? It's gonna gonna be such a
Like,
funny
oops, I'll be
conversation.
So mad at
I'm
us.
like,
And he will be on the show probably next week, so y'all get to see Bobby Dollars. Y'all can't call him that, but
No,
So
really, no.
It's so
We
bad.
can marry this phone.
Right.
Yeah, we can't even do that. So
Right.
don't tell.
Yeah. A
Secret.
secret.
Right. The world knows.
Right.
The whole world knows.
Secret for all the subscribers.
Right.
It's only okay when we say
Right,
it,
exactly.
but not really.
Okay. Okay, get it.
We're gonna have a lecture. Okay.
Know how that works.
At least I won't be there when you
Right.
guys talk
Exactly.
issues. The issues of life from him, I will not be there.
Exactly.
Praise the Lord. Secret places.
Protecting us
the
from
Lord.
lectures.
Okay. Did I want to be saved? I don't think I had a choice in the matter. When I was in that building, the way he came through and to feel the Holy Spirit like that, that's a different type of thing.
Yeah.
That's a different type of feeling.
Yeah.
When you told me you had to get up anyway, I would have.
Yeah.
There was no way I could have sat in that seat.
Yeah.
It was like the longer I sat there, the hotter it got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you had to get up. Like
Yeah.
you had to go.
Yeah.
And how like you said you were saved but you still want to do, I was definitely still doing what I want to do and
Yeah.
sick. You know what I mean?
Right.
And sick.
I forgot about those times.
And sick. Just sick and crazy out there, just sick. Literally sick, but like when he has something that you got to do, you gonna have to do it, and you
Yeah.
have to go through your journey. And like you said, your yes, like once you say yes, there's still work to be done.
Yeah.
You have to learn. There's nothing that you can do. Like once you say yes, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Like even as far as you fight it, like Rosalind said earlier in the call, you can't run from your calling.
Yeah.
It's still gonna come to you. He's still gonna get what he wants at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So it really doesn't matter what you think
Yeah.
or not,
True.
because he's going to get the glory at the end.
Right.
So from that, like, yeah. And then for you though, like you were a different type of saved,
Yeah.
because I've never experienced saved like you before. As they were
What do you
talking,
mean by that?
well, because like growing up in church, like you think you see people feel the Holy Ghost, but it's not that. The way you tap in and the way your gifting is and the way you speak and the way you were taught, you know, like all of that is different. It's not how people would say a normal Christian, like Becky said. Like it's so different. The way you hit home, the way you explain things, the way you word. I love the way you talk, like the way you go about things and how God like downloads them into your head. It's like it's so amazing. And the way you bring people to you, because you're so charismatic, like you bring people, like it glows. It's the light, you know what I mean? So there's nothing what you can do is attract. And when it's your true assignment, it attracts. Like it doesn't matter. Like, oh, I kind of don't like her. Yes, you do. You can't help it. Like, you know what I mean? like she's so cute. Yeah.
I hate her, but not me, but I feel like other people do.
Right. like your eyelashes are cute, whatever.
Right.
Like, you know,
Right.
but like,
yes.
it's like you attract what you like when it's your assignment, but you attract people just to brighten your day, because how you tell me sometimes, like certain things that you say, it'll stay with them.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you do that on a daily. You do that every day. You pour constantly. You know what I mean? And you always stand on your post. Like I admire you for that. The strength that you have and the way you push through everything, and like you carry a lot of us. Like we don't see you at night, you know, we don't see you in your war room. We don't see you do that. You be holding us down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a lot that's on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You know? You got a mantle too. So you know it's like it's a lot.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be 10 toes down on your assignment no matter what, when it belongs to you, you know, and you always gonna do what God say, because you say your posture is better than sacrifice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Oh, I love you.
Right.
Are you crying?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, like, did you think something else?
Her eyes are sweating.
She's like, why would you even ask me that?
Right, she's like, really?
Of course.
She's like, yeah. You're not crying?
Why did that laugh like that though?
It's a cry laugh. I'm crafting.
I'm cracking. Like, wait, what?
111. Hey. It'd be a
No.
She said, I'm cracking.
Oh, my stomach is hurting right now.
If you look at so dramatic, like.
Oh my god. Oh, this really is
Edit this out. This is going a little bit.
No, leave it in. Leave it
Okay. Right.
Are you crying?
This is just like.
It's like, yeah.
So sorry, guys. Okay, come on. We got to get our life together.
K-pop, you gonna come from behind. Did I have a choice in the matter is the question, right? No. It seemed like 16 years later, here I am, you know? I did not have a choice in the matter. Did I want to be saved? No. Like, it was summertime and I wore a puff jacket when I got saved every day. But I came to that church and I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm glad I did. It was a lot of things going on in there. I did not have spiritual glasses on like Bex. It was crazy. But, you know, I was just a little ghetto black child trying to find something that's outside of the house.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that even though I didn't know what to do, I didn't know who I was, and I didn't even know him, and I didn't really know how to get to know him all the way, I said yes.
Yeah.
And, man, you just don't know what you don't know, like you said, and man, I would not take it back. Like, wanting to be a good girl to me is wanting salvation, and that's was my MO. Like, man, my sister acting bad, I'm gonna be good.
Yeah.
My parents is young, they got stressed. I'm gonna try to not stress them out.
Yeah.
It was always wanting to please and people please. It was always, you know, wanting to help, and I've always been that kid, you know, even as a grown woman now. But man, like, whoo, the Lord just wanted something more, something else, something different, you know, than just serving for my own validation.
Yeah.
They said today in church, anointing, what is it? Acceptance. I believe assignment, and I'm missing one more. A.
Advancement.
Advancement. Thank you, Mister. Man, that's what I've always wanted. Was excellence. Was, you know, better than what I've seen or experienced, and all that I really did find. No matter how it was navigating these waters, like in this walk, I'm so thankful for every door closed, every no, every yes, every maybe, every single season, every year, everything. And I told Rosie this, and she was like, "Are you sure?" I can truly say, and I ain't gonna say the scripture verbatim, so y'all Philistines and Pharisees, just leave me alone. I literally can thank the Lord for the affliction. Okay, I'm free. I can thank him for the affliction. I can thank him and say, I was glad I was afflicted.
Yes.
And even there's still afflictions that I'm experiencing.
Yes.
But I can just say thank you. Because at the end of the day, I need to know, like, who I am and whose I am.
Yeah.
That's all we was created on this earth to want, to desire and yearn to know.
Yeah.
Like with finding somebody, with being in a relationship, with having the opportunity, with success at your profession, to being inside of a family, to having a support system, to being with real friends, to having out of the country experiences, all these things all the things, all the things, that he has done and that he is doing and that he will continue to do. That is truly where I'm at when it comes to this walk. And it's like, man, Lord, like you just be Lording. Like, I'm not even trying to make it funny and stuff, but it's real. Like, it's like, oh my God. Like, wow, I'm so present in this moment, but I can honestly say, like, I wanted to. And I didn't know how to want to. I didn't know when and who and what, and I still don't know, and I'm okay with not knowing. That was the last thing. I wanted to know, which is what invited pride, which is what invited a lot of different things that I put on, and not knowing how to put on the whole armor of God. But when I tell you, taking these things off is letting me to know how to put on all of what he is, and seeing you embody that thing from your triple soul, like you said, from your heart, from your mind, from your beauty, from your talk, from your silence, from your family, from your job, from every single thing. It's like, it's beyond just looking and saying, oh, it's cute, or I'm inspired, or, man, like she's that, I want to be that. No, I want to be who I am in him because you have chosen to be all of who you are in him. And that is something that is rare. Like, you are rare, and it is like Cupcake said, you wish and you hope and you pray that you can walk this thing out once you do give your yes that day. And to see and to experience and have that encounter like Bex talked about, and to say, oh, I do real things, but the Lord helps me to know how to navigate and deal with it different. Like Rosie said, it's priceless. Like, it is. Even if I was to only have this experience for this 1 year and go through this breakup and go through this renewal with the Lord, I would be thankful for just 1 year because you chose. So it lets you know, us choosing, it's like, I don't even know what my life will be now and for anyone else who was just see.
Don't you make me cry, girl.
No,
But that's it. Because
I'm not gonna.
I always watch The Chosen every night like a grandma. They see me, they be like, she watching her Chosen. I am. That's my soap opera. And I'm like, man, just to be around Jesus, just to even, I don't even need to see it to believe it, but just to know that we are that. He said we would do greater work. So it's like, wow, to see you and G-Pop embody it is so different. I'm an artist. That's why you'll hear the parables and, me leapfrogging and saying poetic stuff. But Jesus is the dopest poet that ever. Look what he created. Look what he created. Look what he created. Look what he created. And just co-creating this life with us, I wouldn't trade it, no matter how shifty it get. Because that's one thing Holy Spirit said to me this week, because he be talking now. Deliverance. Last thing I will say is that he's like, it gets shifty, but it gets shifty because I'm the master shifter. So even when the enemy makes it get shifty at work or get shifty on, wherever you are out there, it's literally for him to shift that thing to work in your favor.
Absolutely.
So I'm grateful for the shift. Keep getting shifty.
Come on.
And the good thing is he made it this way, Look what he made in you. To me, I'm about to say,
I missed it.
Dexter starts shifting gears in his piece. The thing about it. Lord,
Sorry, I'm always late. Sorry.
The thing about it is that he's an ultimate chess player. So he's always making moves. And he out like 5-10 moves from his, his opponent, the devil, the enemy, the one who's always creating
The adversary.
funky stuff, It's like he always got the jump on him. Back in the day, you hear in the 70s, like, put the jump on him. He always got the jump on the devil, So it's like, why not be the one to win your team? Hey,
Absolutely.
I don't like no L's.
We know.
I ain't taking no L's. Even when I lose, I win. Even when I lose, I win because I'm the ultimate.
Like it's just, he's the one that got the keys.
Maker. Exactly.
Absolutely.
So that's what we were talking about today on So Sweet Sundays. I'm Sweet.
I'm Rosie.
I'm Dexter.
I'm Cupcake.
And me.
And we out.
Get your diamonds and them pearls, baby. I'll be right back. Put triple digits in your bank account. Yeah, it's on like that. And I know you don't need it, but I owe you that. One of my love, I honor your love. I put that weight all on my back to keep lifting you up. Had to be God, I must admit this is more than